That's it, put a bit on there. Put that aside. And we'll fit that gear in. Just like that. Where is it? There you go. Right, to test the check the shimming on this, I'm just going to put this back in. That's it. Right, that's fitted together now. More or less. Have a look, make sure that's in. Yeah, that's in. So I'm going to hold that together like that, and that should spin. Yeah, hear that clicking? I don't know if you can see that there. I've just put my finger through the window and I spin it, and there we are. That's pretty good. That's spreading the grease around, and also I can tell that the shimming is pretty good. If I look there, I can see you're supposed to really bolt the gearbox together, and that's doing. Oh, it's lovely. That's beautiful. Right, so we know the shimming's good, and like magic, it's found its way back to the correct position. Now, what else have we got to do? Right, we've done the gears. Okay, the gears are fine. Cleaned everything. We're going to now lube up the piston. So the way I do this is I just simply go around, twist that round like that. Spread a bit of grease on there, not too much, but enough. Wipe it around with my hand, probably totally wrong. What I'm going to do is just stretch that a little bit as well, just to make sure that's a good fit. Okay, put a bit more on there, because I removed the grease from the actual cylinder. Now, I'm just going to put that in a couple of times, like that. That should spread the grease around. That's a nice fit. I'm going to check the compression, put my finger over the edge, push, and there's resistance there. It won't go any further than that, which is exactly what you want. Okay, compression is good. In fact, what we'll do, we'll just double check that with the nozzle over the end. Try that. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so here's a bit greasy that. Make sure that's nice clean grease in there. Look at that, it's absolutely, that gear grease got absolutely everywhere. As time goes by, the lithium grease will dry out and be less like grease, but it still is grease. So, right, now for the nozzle, I'm just going to apply a little squirge of that on there. Clean, nice clean cylinder grease. Exercise that. That's fine. Then the other thing we've got to really lube is the piston rails and the tappet plate rails. So I'm going to use this special mixture that I prepared earlier, and I will use my trusty craft knife and just apply into the groove there. You see it's quite runny now, which is fine. Not too much. Both ends there. In there as well. And I'm also going to put some in the tappet plate groove in there as well. It doesn't move much, but it helps keep things quiet. So just a little bit in there as well. And obviously, but there's two sides to a gearbox, so we're going to do this as well in there. It's nice and runny now. And also, it doesn't matter if this grease gets into the cylinder, because it is basically cylinder grease is silicone grease, a type of silicone grease, a runny silicone grease, so it doesn't really matter. Whereas the gear grease, I really don't like the idea of that getting into the cylinder. You don't know what it's going to do. Right, so there we go. First of all, we take our tappet plate, fix the nozzle, just like that. We're going to place that over like that. Okay. And then that's going to slot in. It's sort of like a rolling motion when you put this in. This is a very tight fitting one, this one, so there we are. That's good. There we go. I'm going to just add a little bit more of that lovely special silicone stuff in there, just a little bit, because that'll be a plastic to metal contact area. There we are, that's that. So next thing we're going to put in there is the tappet plate spring. Something I've in the past forgotten about on a few occasions, and wondered why the gun didn't work properly. There we go. Ooh. So there's hooks on there. I can't really see very well actually. There we are. And the springs there. That's lovely. Next we're going to put in, again we've got plastic to metal contact with the piston. So I'm going to just put a little bit of this on there. In fact, what I might do is use some of this as well. This is pretty crap stuff actually. And let's just ease that in. Right up and down like that. So that's what that's going to do, is going to spread the grease. Yeah, that's a lovely slide. Lovely greasy slide. Now, that's that. What spring? What spring should we use? Right, so when you put springs in, okay, it's the end with the tighter coils like that there need to be in the spring guide. Okay, so you're going to put it in that way, so the end with the tighter coils go into there. Put it in. I've got a trusty screwdriver here which I've been using for all sorts of things. I bet that's going to spill and make a hell of a mess. Put the screwdriver in the end. Just move that down a bit so you can see. Put the screwdriver in the end. I always... So what I do is put one hand there so you can't see what I'm doing. I'll try and do that, and then push that in. This is a very stiff spring, so I'd be interested to see what the velocity will be on this. Just engage that. Now, I've never known a version 2 gearbox to be able to... Oh, look at that. So I'm going to just do that, keep that under control. This is where you need 3 or 4 hands. Sure that's in there. And with my trusty craft knife, I'm going to just, there we go. Sometimes that helps if you do that. That's it, in. Beautiful. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to hold that together because that is under pressure. I'm going to put my screwdriver down the nozzle and just make sure that, yeah, that's good. So it shows that the tappet plate spring is working on the nozzle, and that's fine, that's a good sign, and it's moving. Right, let's put these screws back in. Always start from the outside in, okay, opposite ends inwards. Now one of these is dodgy, so that's not a problem because I've got loads of spares of these. This is a specific GMP hex, so I know that that is the exact fit for those bolts. Okay, now don't tighten them up too much because you're going to have the same problem that Mike had before. I just like to do it finger tight like that. Bit slow on the uptake.